The Boston Bruins are in the market for a left defenseman, suitors for Patrick Kane have been revealed, and Sidney Crosby has voiced his opinion on the playoff format. All that and more in this edition of Ringside Digest. Hello and welcome to this edition of Ringside Digest. I'm your host, Kirk Day, along with my co-hosts Noah Byrne and Nick Miller. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Great.
Good to hear. So we got a lot of stuff to get into today, so we're not going to waste your time, and we're going to get straight into our first topic, which is the Bruins are in the market for a left-handed defenseman. So the Bruins right now their defense is good, but it could be better. The Bruins also have $1 million in cap space, and they're kind of being pressured to do some things by their fans because their left defense is lacking. Right's all right. So the defensemen they have in the market for are Jakob Chychrun and Gavrikov from the Columbus Blue Jackets. So those two are good suitors, but I want to know what you guys think. How about you, Noah? What do you go first?
I mean, yeah, I don't know if the Bruins can really afford either of these guys. Both those guys, they're going to want returns with involving prospects and picks, right? And I know when you look at the Bruins pool, they got one of the worst prospect pools in the league, right? Now, I think it might have been Pierre LeBrun, or Chris Johnson said that they're looking for a David Savard type return for Gavrikov. I think that was a first and a third round pick. So maybe the Bruins just send a bunch of picks over to Columbus for Gavrikov, or maybe they just send a bunch of picks over to Arizona for Chychrun. But personally, there's a guy that I think that would fit the Bruins kind of style of play, and that's Joel Edmondson on the Habs. He fits that stereotype of a real solid defensive defenseman. It is an interdivisional trade with that where he's being on the Habs, but I think he's a much cheaper option to add to that already amazing Bruins team.
I agree with you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. I think Joel Edmondson fits the big bad Bruin type style of play that the fans, they all like there in Boston, right? Like the big tough guys can beat you up, but can also play pretty good defense. I think Joel Edmondson's a pretty good fit. Now Jakob Chychrun, I think, would be the prize acquisition if they could get this deal done. I think that package though starts at a Fabian Lysell. That's their top prospect, and really the only notable prospect they have, in my opinion. That's definitely their top prospect, but. A Gavrikov is also good. I don't know if I'm willing to give up what I am for Chychrun with him, but if you can get Chychrun, I mean, he's proven that he's played at an elite level in a bad market with a less than desirable team. So I'd like to put him in the spotlight in Boston, but like I said, with Gavrikov is probably the easier option for them with their cap situation, but where he's expiring this year. But I just don't know if I'd be willing to give up what they're asking.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the Boston Bruins on their left defense have Matt Grzelcyk, Hampus Lindholm, and Derek Forbort, which I wouldn't say is ideal, but they have also Mike Riley in the AHL. So having four left defensemen who are all middle tier, I would say, and not having like a certified top line guy, they would probably have to move either one or two so they wouldn't have a crowd at left defense. Now I have here, Chychrun is at $4.6 million for 3 years, but Gavrikov is $2.8 million, and he's a UFA after this year. So like you said, Nick, I wouldn't think that the Boston Bruins would want to give up too much for a guy like Gavrikov, who could possibly not re-sign with the team this year. Next year, sorry. At $2.8 million too, he's not going to be as expensive as Chychrun, so it would probably be a better fit for Chychrun going to Boston, getting to see his true potential. So I do think that one of those guys is good, but it's probably favoring towards Chychrun for Boston's sake.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And with our next topic here, we have teams emerging as contenders for Patrick Kane. So the teams that we're going to talk about are the Dallas Stars and the New York Rangers. And there's a tweet here that says Patrick Kane says his agent has come to him with some teams that have shown interest in trading for him, but he's still undecided about what he wants to do for his future. Now, both these teams don't have too much cap space at the moment. The Dallas Stars have $600K and the Rangers have 1.2 mil. So a team like one of those teams would have to move either a good amount of people to get enough room for Patrick Kane, even at 50% retained, which would be close on $5 million still. Even though 1 year left, it's still going to have to make some room for him. So what do you think on that, Noah? What do you think about those teams?
Yeah, I mean, I like Dallas. I really do. Like you said about the cap space, but they do have, I think it's Guryanov on their fourth line, who's making a good bit of money, so they could try to move him to a struggling Chicago team. He's had his struggles over there in Dallas, so maybe he could benefit from a change of scenery. But they also have the picks and prospects to make that happen, right? Like Chicago's asking for obviously picks and prospects as well. I mean, it's Patrick Kane we're talking about here, right? And you add him to an already amazing top six with guys like Robertson, Rupe Hintz, Joel Pavelski. I think Dallas goes very, very far with Kane slotted in their top six for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. Actually, I'm gonna say the Rangers are the better fit, but if they can get a package going back to Chicago consisting of Logan Stankoven, and the fact that they may also get the first overall pick, and get Connor Bedard, you can have like a little World Junior chemistry. You saw those guys in the World Juniors play phenomenal together, Stankoven and Bedard.
Yeah.
Maybe that could work in Dallas. I do think, however, the fit is better in New York, whereas Dallas has a lot of depth on the right wing. They've got guys like Sagan already playing on the right wing, Pavelski, Dellandrea. Those guys, like the right wing is pretty full over there. But with the Rangers, their top six could definitely use a Patrick Kane slotted in there, as they've got Jimmy Vesey playing on the first line right wing right now. Nothing against Jimmy Vesey, it's just Patrick Kane.
He's not a top six winger.
He's not a top winger on a team that's going for a championship, right? So, but also I do wonder though what a dark horse team like Buffalo would offer for Patrick Kane, where they're on the cusp of being a playoff team and they haven't been in 11 years. That could really do some good for the fan base in Buffalo.
For sure, yeah. And as with the Rangers, that Patrick Kane, if they re-sign him, the Rangers are not a win now team at all. They have some time that they can take for to get to the Stanley Cup final and try to win it. They don't have very many old guys. Like nobody. I think one of their oldest players is probably like Mika Zibanejad or Chris Kreider, which is very good for what they have going right now. Especially if they get Patrick Kane for a few more years. If they get him on a trade, they can re-sign him. I think it'd be good for the Rangers there as well.
I just want to add something right quick.
Yep.
If I'm Chicago and I'm trading Kane to the Rangers, the first person I'm asking for is Byrne. That the kid is going to be a stud, right? I mean, he didn't necessarily light up the World Juniors, but just the physical play and just how he carries himself on and off the ice, I think he's going to be a stud in the league. I really do.
Yeah,
I'm a big. Well,
and you got to think that the Rangers are probably going to have to give up probably a first-round pick as well as some top prospects for Patrick Kane, because Patrick Kane is still very good for what he's doing this year. So.
Oh, yeah, he's still a franchise player.
Yeah. With our third and final story here, we have Sidney Crosby wants a new playoff format. So, at the All-Star break, Sidney Crosby was asked Sidney Crosby said he changed the league to go with a 1-8 playoff format. Says it rewards teams for his regular season. And I do agree with this. Having a 1-8 format will allow the top team to... And you may have someone come in very good at the end of the season who weren't at the start and get 8. But on most cases, the 8th team is usually someone who just scrapes into the playoffs, has been not great all year, but not bad. They kind of just scrape in. Sometimes you'll know they're going to lose, so that one team may say, yep, we want this. It'll be easier for us to win, be easier for us to settle into the playoffs and get there. So, yeah, what do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sid on this one. Like all for rewarding the top team at the President's Trophy team, but I kind of have my own little twist on the playoff format here. I got it wrote down here because it is a little bit confusing. So yeah, I have here. You have a top 16 format with a pick your opponent kind of style. So like the number 1 seed picks a team anywhere from 9 to 16. And then the number 2 picks kind of whoever's left, and then so forth for 3 and 4 seeds. So whatever way you do it, it still rewards the top teams the teams who finish higher, right? It allows for teams that don't want to travel, kind of like first starting off their playoffs, to choose a team that's probably closer to where they are like geographically, right? And it also maybe I don't know, the 16 team, like you said, barely scrapes by, but they also could go on like a 10-game win streak right before the playoff starts. And maybe a team kind of wants to avoid them, and they pick a mid team, so they don't have to face a team. Obviously, I would want to face a team on a 10-game win streak, right? But I mean, like I said, I'm all for rewarding the President's Trophy in the second and the 3 seeds, and I know I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. Actually, that format is actually a pretty cool idea. And what I can see happening this year, it probably avoids something like this, like a one team, like say the Boston Bruins, say in that scenario, in this scenario, 1 to 16, like the whole league is in one. You know what I mean? Say a team like the Colorado Avalanche, for example, this season, they're gonna come in the second wild card spot or somewhere around there. That's what they're looking like right now. And Gabriel Landeskog hasn't played a game all season. They haven't been fully healthy all season. So a team like the Avalanche coming in like the last playoff spot, like a team like Dallas is going to have to play maybe a Colorado in the first round, and that might go bad for Dallas. That might be really bad for Dallas because Colorado is going to be fully healthy, and they just won the Stanley Cup. So I agree with you there. But what I was going to say is Sidney Crosby, if he's outspoken on something and disagrees with the league on something, you have a problem because Sidney Crosby is a guy that usually just he doesn't say much. Like he's a leader, but he doesn't say much, right? I think the league needs to listen to its players and its fans, frankly, about getting a new playoff format because it really hasn't worked in the past few years. Like I know it's a lot of Leafs fans complaining about having to play Tampa in the first round after finishing so high as they have in the last few years. To have to play a team like Tampa Bay in the first round as a reward for finishing so high, I think that's a little demoralizing.
Yeah, certainly, yeah. Like having to pick the team you want in the playoffs is definitely it can have some ups and downs, because like it just seems weird that being able to pick your team, like you play good against this team, that you've beaten this team in the past. It could also be demoralizing for the team that gets picked. They may not want to play that team. Like they try to come lower in the standings, knowing that like they wouldn't have to play a top team, but having to pick your team format, you could end up with someone that you just don't want to play at all, and like avoid your chances of like going out throughout the standings. So that's it for this video, guys. If you want to see more content from us all throughout the NHL season and all throughout the off season as well, we're going to have it here. So make sure to subscribe, and I hope you did like this video. Thanks for watching, and see you later.